And I think we're live. Are we live yet? If you can hear me, yeah, I think we're starting now, right? Let me just bring something up here. How's everybody doing tonight? We are about ready to get this thing started. I wanted to bring up a few things about Transformers: The Last Night tonight, so that we are going to be talking spoilers tonight. Did everybody see it, or we good thoughts, up, down, left, right? Obviously everybody's got mixed opinions about the Transformers: The Last Night tonight, and the reason why I wanted to do a live stream is because I wanted there to be a discussion about it. There is a lot to talk about, and once again, I mean, if you guys are tuning into this live stream, I am talking spoilers for Transformers: The Last Night. I saw it on opening night, which was Tuesday, and I saw it again on Thursday, and I don't know if I want to see it again. I enjoyed the film overall, and I think that, there's too many holes and too many, poor editing decisions when it comes down to it. Let's see. Couple things to, so I see everybody's, chiming in as we're coming in. Yeah, when Bumblebee spoke, that was pretty interesting. The voice was a little underwhelming, considering that they used Mark Ryan, I think, for the first movie, for him to talk. I would have liked if they actually got either Dan Gilvezan or, I think his name is Will Freddy. The guy who does Bumblebee. He was also Batman Beyond, and whoever else he's played. What did you guys think of Unicron being Earth, ripping story pages right out of Transformers Prime, making that way? I didn't mind it in Prime because they did it really well. I didn't like how they did it here. I guess they wanted to I guess we can't have a giant planet eating everything, somewhere. Well, the Wreckers, we know that, Leadfoot died, but Topspin was in Cuba. So, it's possible, I think maybe one of the other Wreckers was in, what's his name? It wasn't Roadbuster, was it? I don't think it was actually ripping from Transformers Prime. I think that what they chose to do is to mash all of these different Transformers universes together. I don't think they did it better. I think that I think they did it. How do I put it? I think it was done all right for the concept of the movie, but yeah, I didn't like Onslaught getting killed, but all the Decepticons were basically Megatron's Suicide Squad, right down to even with the stupid name tags like Onslaught, Dreadbot. It was Suicide Squad all over again, and then that movie was a train wreck. And so, basically this Onslaught is just like Bone Crusher in the first movie. They can still do Bruticus. They can just call him something else like Mega Octane, which is retarded. But oh, I can't say that now. Those are some words that you can't say nowadays. It's like I'm starting to feel my age when certain things you can't say anymore. um, but yeah, it was the same thing with Scavenger. Actually, like all the Constructicons in Revenge of the Fallen end up getting killed while Devastator is still doing his thing. I think except for like Mixmaster, and like Mixmaster was off doing his own thing, and you know, so Devastator was basically made out of 7 construction vehicles that were random. Um, if I can give Megatron a different name, um, I think that they should have explained what happened with him, like as Galvatron. That was one of the things that I didn't talk about in my, in my regular spoiler-free review. That they implied that he was like, it wasn't said at all. The only thing that was implied was the fact that he had the red line down his face, and to me that kind of says, hey, Galvatron got rebuilt into Megatron by Quintessa somehow, because he was on Earth the whole time and he had no time to go from Earth to Cybertron. And Optimus didn't know where he was going. He just basically started floating in space until he landed at Cybertron, but Megatron had full capability of flying there. And yeah, to answer, Justin Quay's the random Autobot Constructicon. Yeah, that was like for a second. It was like 1, 2, 3. It was just there, and then Bulldog. It was basically a lot of they didn't decide to use they didn't do transformations, like they were lazy about it, which I think was ridiculous. 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 And yeah, pretty much all the Decepticons got killed except for Megatron and Barricade. It's possible that Nitro Zeus might be alive, but most likely, I think we saw him get killed. And yeah, Hound didn't get killed when he got blasted by Megatron, which kind of like made you go like, what? Like almost like the Autobots were overpowered and the Decepticons were just cannon fodder. Favorite new Decepticon? I liked all of their personalities. I liked Nitro Zeus. I just didn't like the fact that they got killed. Barricade looked cool. I mean, his updated look, looked awesome, but he was barely there except for the car chase. He had a couple, he actually spoke. That's the one thing I did like, is that the Decepticons actually spoke. They all had speaking lines. And other than that, I was in some ways I feel like I was disappointed with the movie, and in other ways I was like, all right, it's enjoyable. They're doing something with the Decepticons. Okay, they all have speaking lines. There's enough fighting going on. There's all that stuff, but I still feel like the movie, like it was edited poorly. It was kind of like, moved so quickly to move to the next scene, and it was way too many human scenes. I mean, come on, we want to see Transformers. I wish they would have done something with Starscream's head, other than the alas, poor Starscream, I knew him well, which it was kind of neat, kind of interesting, but and the Dinobots were just basically wasted. Like, they were just there because the Dinobots were in the previous movie, so they had to do something here. But they were completely left out of, like, all of the action sequences. They could have actually done something with them. They could have had speaking roles, but I guess, it wasn't worth their time. Yeah, well, if they don't reboot, if they don't reboot after this movie, then yeah, it's still the Bayformers universe. Um, we all know that Bumblebee is supposed to be coming next. Um, we know that they're going to do a Bumblebee preview, which, to be honest with you, I really hope that this Bumblebee preview is like does something where it actually like hits the reset button like Days of Future Past, but even more than Days of Future Past did. I wish they killed off an Autobot show and the Decepticons. Yeah, I wouldn't have mind like if if an Autobot like got killed, if the Autobots were actually like the stars of the show. Mark Wahlberg and Laura Haddock were the stars, and the Transformers were second fiddle. Even that new girl Isabella Moner and what's his name, Gerard, the new assistant to Kate Yeager. What is this, Jimmy J? I think his name is. All second fiddle. Like they're all these new guys. But good God, like the movie should have been so much better. Like I said, I'll still go down to say like it's overall enjoyable. I would almost put it, I don't know where to put it, like as far as like other, not just so much other Transformers movies, but like other superhero movies within like all of these genres that come out, because like so many of us, like we love to hate Spider-Man 3 and Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, and I'm just trying to think of like all the different like sequels that Superman 4 would be a good one to say, where it was like it was almost, I mean, Superman 4 was bad, was abysmally bad. This one was actually more enjoyable than that. So I know so many people are like, no, the movie flat out sucked, and I'm kind of like, I'm right in the middle with you there. Like I get it. I wish that it was Wreck-Gar, but they called him Day Trader. I guess that kind of goes along with like Double Dealer. If they don't reboot, it would be nice if there was Rodimus Prime, but this Hot Rod with Omar Sy's voice, unless he changed the French accent to something a little bit more like, straight, that kind of sounded a little bit better. I mean, the French accent just did not work for me. I said in my regular review that it kind of sounded like Cogman and Hot Rod were Cogsworth and Lumiere from Beauty and the Beast. Like, it's literally, that's what we got out of the two of them. Yeah, I did hear about that 40 minutes was cut. I don't know the truth behind that, but if that's the case, a lot of scenes that were cut would make sense if they were put together. Gerard Carmichael, that's his name. And I liked his a little bit of use for his character, but and I also didn't like that aspect ratio changing. Like, you're sitting there watching it like literally go constantly up down, like left to right. Bumblebee didn't die. I mean, Bumblebee now has the ability to like bring his parts back together like magnet, like as if all his parts are like magnets. His character, I don't think his character was forgettable. I think that his character could have been used better. You're introducing these new characters. I should care about them. And they all reach a certain point, and it's like, wait, guys, we need to pause the movie for a second so we can go fly to London with a bunch of new characters right in the middle of the movie stop the movie for a little while, introduce Anthony Hopkins, which I liked Anthony Hopkins, and I always liked him in a lot of different movies, but you know, Anthony Hopkins just, good God, man, he just like stops for a second, goes, guys, I'm out, and then all of a sudden it's a submarine off camera, jumps into the water. And I'm literally like this the whole time. Like, the second time I watched it, I'm like, all right, I can go take a nap now. And it wasn't until Optimus came back that that I was actually like excited to watch it further. I always like Anthony Hopkins. Like, he has some really, really, really quotable lines in almost every single movie he's in. He's almost like, what's his name? Like, pretty much like any one of those big actors can, like, you know, have quotes that you can just sit there and quote over and over again. Something to note about Quintessa. Quintessa says, "I am the prime of life." She does not clearly state that she is Optimus's creator. She says she's the prime of life. So she doesn't say much more than that. She says that the Knights of Iacon stole the staff from her, and they call her the Great Deceiver. So it leads me to believe that she took over Cybertron a long time ago, because Optimus is not clear who she is. No, it wasn't Solus. It wasn't Solus Prime. A lot of people think that Optimus Prime got the blood of Unicron. No, it was just basically like she just had the power to brainwash Optimus. All of the Autobots survived. Barricade and Megatron survived. In fact, they actually just like did something similar to Transformers the movie, where Rodimus Prime throws Galvatron out of the inside of Unicron. Optimus kicks Megatron out of the side of kicked out of the side of Cybertron, and so he's still alive. Yeah, I mean, that the spectacle is definitely overwhelming. I will agree with you there. And that's the one thing I enjoy about these movies, is that it is a spectacle, but you really begin to see the holes the next time you see it. Yeah, it was the magic slap. I did hear about that, that Michael Bay was editing the movie, like, literally, like, right before, and, like, I think, like, 2 days before, they took the movie from him and said, it's done now, you have to be done, and it has to go. So, like, he just, like, he had the quick editing put together, so the movie suffers from the fact that he really wasn't done, when it premiered. So I'm really curious. I would never want to see I would never want to see him direct Beast Wars. I watched the MTV premiere for Chicago, and when I watched that, they had an interview with Bay, and Bay actually said, like, I basically had to finish, like, literally, like, the last second, and they took the movie from me and put it, there. A director's cut, yeah, I wonder if Bay actually would do that, if he actually would do a director's cut, because the movie definitely feels like it should have had, like, a director's cut, but that's the problem with these movies nowadays. They have this deadline, and it's like, well, the movie's not done. This is like as bad as video games that come out, like, half done, or they come with, like, DLC, and you have to buy the game for $60, and then You know, paying $60 for this game, and then now you got to pay another like $40 to download like 4 characters. Like that's what they end up doing, you know, with video games, and it's like they now big budget, you know, movies do that. You know, Batman v Superman had to do that. Like the movie wasn't cut right, so you know there's an extra half an hour. Suicide Squad wasn't cut right, so there's an extra half an hour. I'm sure Wonder Woman's going to have that, even though that was a really good movie. You know, and here Transformers, I wonder if there's going to be this director's cut. Like the movies blew up, you know, chunks in theaters. Nobody went to go see it, so let's make a director's cut so everybody buys a Blu-ray because it's got an extra half an hour. There were a lot of elements that I liked. About the movie. Hot Rod, his character was one of them. His gun was one of them. I didn't like his robot face. I honestly feel like, you know, if they really wanted to make that, you know, all these Transformers, they should make them look like what they're supposed to look like. None of the Transformers, you know, look like they should. It would have been nice if Hot Rod became Rodimus Prime, considering that they could have gone so many storylines. Honestly, you know, I really feel like this movie could have had like so many better storylines. Like, imagine if Nemesis Prime, like the reprogrammed Optimus, came down, and they introduce all these new characters, but now he's out doing evil, and then he's you know, brought back to the good side. But when he does, he passes the leadership down, you know, to Hot Rod to become Rodimus Prime. That would have been a better story. But it's like they didn't know what they wanted to do. You know, Bumblebee is already currently the leader in Transformers Robots in Disguise, so it's already at a point where Transformers is like moving on past Optimus always being the leader, yet they always have to bring him back. They even bring him back because it's like, oh, well, he's already been dead. And then he comes back. I'm going back to Cybertron. Oh, I never went to Cybertron. Like, that's one of the problems with Robots in Disguise. And I'll agree with you there, Paper Plane. The movie didn't make me want to die as much as Age of Extinction. Age of Extinction was bad. It was brutal. You know, Galvatron was like a redeeming quality to it, but the transformations with like the KSI Decepticons with them all floating through the air with pieces, it was terrible. With this, at least the Transformers actually do transform, including the Decepticons. You know, the Autobots go, all right, we're just gonna like take a back seat, and then we're gonna show up in the final battle, because like that middle of the movie, like you can literally like take chunks of it out, and you wouldn't lose any plot at all. Like certain scenes, like them talking about the Wiccan history, and they could have just like really like made that exposition like much smaller. You know, the transformations did look good. Yeah, and the Dinobots just vanished. Like we don't know where they are. I don't think Megatron could become a Prime, because I don't think Decepticons can become Primes. But then again, we don't know. I don't think they could have left Lockdown alive, considering that like he had a job to do. Man, I'm trying to read everybody's comments, and Berserker was left in prison because apparently the TRF, instead of killing all Transformers, they actually capture them, which is weird. Considering that they've always gone off and killed Decepticons, it made no sense why they were imprisoned. Megatron just should have had a crew of Decepticons with him. and it would have made a lot more sense. Um, Drift was around. He was piloting the ship that the Ospreys actually flew out of. So basically, he's kind of like, he was there. He just wasn't, um, in like present very much in the final battle. Um, the Nemesis is not a real Prime. Well, the real Nemesis Prime is supposed to be an Optimus Prime clone, not Optimus Prime. Not Optimus Prime turned evil. So they just basically took the concept and went with it. Or were there female and Autobots and Decepticons? Not in this movie, but in different Transformers lore, there are different female Autobots and female Decepticons. There are different female Transformers all together, and I'd like to go into that if I ever do. Once I finally get to actually doing the concept of female Transformers, I actually have various different theories on that, depending upon continuity. So when I eventually get to that one, but from what I heard, part of the time that, like, the scenes that were cut from the final theatrical release of this movie actually did explain how Galvatron became Megatron again. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I've heard. And all of the scenes that seem to have been cut might have actually pieced this movie together a lot better. It's almost like the ultimate edition of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. A lot of those scenes fix all the holes that that movie had. But Galvatron, this is my honest opinion. He left. I think Galvatron left China, took a jet mode, flew to Cybertron, and met Quintessa, who gave him a new body, and he becomes Megatron again, and then he comes back to Earth, and now he's got the red line down his face. But that's my theory, because it's only a theory, because we don't know who he really was. Yeah, Truckbot was angry. Scene holding his own head. That would be really cool if there was that scene. That would be interesting. There was the scene of him holding Starscream's head, where he's like, my treacherous friend, I wish that you were, here, but it was like, alas, poor Starscream, I knew him well. It was literally like a Macbeth moment. But the human cast, I liked Anthony Hopkins. I liked, I kind of liked what they could have done with Isabella Moner's character. I liked the scenes at the junkyard themselves. But really, the human characters in this were just basically like, let's take you by the hand and let's walk you from place to place, because all of these scenes have to happen in the movie. It could have been so much better. I'm really... Wreck-Gar was not in it. Basically, Steve Buscemi plays a Transformer called Day Trader, who you could almost say, like, he could have been Wreck-Gar, but he wasn't. As to why Drift changed colors, because he felt like it. for the same reason that Smokescreen in Transformers Prime went from being a white car to a blue car, just because he needed to. Am I reading the comics between movies? If you know something, I watched I think a lot of the comics that have come out now, this movie actually literally takes all those comic books, or a lot of them, and throws them out the window, because the continuity between this movie and the rest of the movies in those comic books is slim at best. So, it could have been they could have tied things together better. I mean, granted, there was the cameo for Sam, Sam's picture when he was, his eBay, and there was, obviously Lennox was in it to tie it that way, but I think I did, I know. I'm seeing the comments for combiners. What do you guys think of Dragonstorm being the 12 Knights and Infernicus for the little bit the two of them were in the movie? I kind of liked them. I liked the fact that Megatron was like, Infernicus, transform. Like, that was like really cool that he did that, and that Optimus rode Dragonstorm into battle. I thought that was cool. Yeah, Infernicus though was Infernicus was like, he was short-lived, but at least like he actually was a combiner. Like, it was cool that it was all of a sudden she was there. Let's kill off Gabe and Lennox too. I think, yeah, because the continuity in the movie, even in and of itself, doesn't make sense. But Dragonstorm had to actually combine, so yeah, I agree with you there that the car chasing scene was definitely missing Cogbin transforming, because the toy actually like has that, where like that car that they use actually transforms into a robot Cogman. Yeah, and Infernicus was like basically like this enforcer. You know what I would think? Like, Infernicus is almost like the Predacons in the Predacons in Five Faces of Darkness. They're just introduced, like these monsters introduced because of the Quintessons, and they can combine. And then Dragonstorm is basically like Skylynx in a way. You can almost think about it that way, but I guess take it for what it's worth. The submarine that did not transform. Hold on a second. Do you remember? Yeah, they didn't address what happened to the seed. That was like one of those things that made me scratch my head. I did like Topspin and Simmons. Do you remember the Insecticon idea that they had with the drones? Yeah, basically like they were like infecting Galvatron with basically parts, things to do with Megatron. And yeah, Megatron like was supposed to have like things repairing him. That would have been hilarious if they did Monty Python. It's only a flesh wound. But you've lost both your arms. It's just a flesh wound. I think that would have been absolutely hilarious. He didn't transform, yeah, Gurjay. Would have been nice if he did. So this movie, it it could have been so much better. Like I really honestly think that like overall this movie did a lot of things, um, good, but like a lot of the battle sequences were really cool. Megatron using his arm cannon, some of even the human action sequences, like the drones with what's his name, Mark Wahlberg is jumping from drone to drone. That was a pretty cool sequence. The actual car chase itself, I thought was pretty neat. I liked Bumblebee's arm transforming while he was in car mode with two passengers and being able to shoot at Barricade. That was a cool scene. Nitro, Zeus, and all the Decepticons that had speaking lines, they could have done so much more with the Decepticons themselves. They should have been introduced and not killed, and then brought towards the final battle, like all of them making like, and none of them even transformed. Like you didn't really see them transform at all. I didn't know Mohawk was the motorcycle the first time I saw it. When I saw him transform, I was like, I don't know. I'm trying to remember if I saw him transform, but I was like, wait, he's the motorcycle? It took me a bit to actually pick up on that. I didn't mind the two the Decepticons looking like punks because I guess like yeah, I will say that the battle sequences were definitely incomplete, interrupted, and film pacing was definitely choppy. Yeah, I'll agree with you there. They could have extended those fight scenes, a lot longer. They could have made it like I didn't care, if the humans were hiding out and that the Decepticons were battling. Like I wanted to see the Decepticons battle the Autobots. I didn't want to see the humans battling drones. It should have been all about the Autobots versus the Decepticons. And I want to see that again. I want to see Autobots versus Decepticons. So, where do we think that they can go from there now? Like, if this movie bombs here domestically, do we think that they're going to continue on after this? Or do they think they're, let's see how we do with Bumblebee, and how do we do with the Bumblebee movie? And unless Bumblebee is a straight up reboot, I don't know what they're going to do from here. Because, they could, in a sense, like Transformers Prime, like had Unicron be the Earth, and they're doing that with the movies. They could have Unicron himself, like, I'm not waking up physically, like, I'm not going to transform, but I am going to, like, make minions. They could do something there. Maybe the Decepticons are now led by Quintessa. But I'll be honest with you, I think that this, like, the whole movie, universe almost now needs, like, a complete 100% reboot, because so many people have got a bad taste in their mouth with these movies. It just basically, like, went on a downward slope. Yeah, I agree with you there. Something that really bugged me about Lennox? Lennox has this secret mission with the TRF. Like, he's only with the TRF because he's trying to get in touch, I guess, with the Autobots. I mean, what his motives are not really clear. And he has, like, a conflict with that head guy, I forgot his name. The two of them could have had, like, this, like, problem with each other, and they don't. It's like, the Autobots are really good guys. You know what? Okay, alright, I believe you. Really? Like you could have actually had, like, the two of them, like, at each other. Yeah, I guess so. I guess that you know, Michael Bay, I like he always wants to make the military look good, and I don't fault him for that because, like the first movie, you needed the military, you know, involved because aliens are coming to Earth. You need, you know, the military involvement. But the stories should always be about the Autobots versus Decepticons. They should always be the focus. They never focus on all 5 movies. They never ever focus on the Autobots and the Decepticons. That would have been cool if his name was Silas. Epps was not around because Tyrese Gibson was busy filming, you know, Fate of the Furious, and so he wasn't able to get to any filming location to be involved with The Last Night, which, you know, is probably better on his part because, you know, I like Tyrese Gibson and I always enjoyed his character, but good God. Yeah, I will say the love story was, that could have been thrown out. I hated that the first time I saw it. I hated it the second time I saw it, and I wish that the whole love story was just, you know, it didn't need to be so forced. It's one of those things that, like, every single thing in this movie felt forced. Like, why they need to go to London is forced. Hey, stop the movie. We're all going to London. All right, we're now going in a submarine. You know, I explained everything to you. I was awesome for a little while, and all right, see ya. Goodbye. You know, you guys have fun on the submarine. And, you know, like the movie literally pauses. You know, I mean, and I still think, like, overall, I mean, like, there's still a lot of enjoyable moments in the movie, but, like, there should have, like, the movie, if it had more coherent storyline, everything would have actually worked a lot better, instead of the way that it did. I think that they were so busy trying to introduce the new characters, and the editing was just really choppy, because, like, they needed to make the movie 2.5 hours, and from what, you know, some of you have been saying is that 40 minutes of the film was actually cut. And if that's true, you know, and like the scene of, like, Megatron actually, like, becoming Megatron from Galvatron, it would have actually made a lot more sense. Once Transformers as humans able to fight Transformers. Yeah, I don't like the idea that only humans could kill Transformers. Transformers can't kill each other. I think the scene of Onslaught's death was like, you literally, if you missed it I missed it the first time. Like, I actually, like, I scratched my nose and I blunk, and next thing you know, Onslaught's head is on the floor. When I watched it the second time, I actually saw the scene of, you know, Crosshairs in midair and shooting, and then Drift doing a flip and killing Onslaught. And you know, that would have that like, it was like literally, you know, if you blunk, you missed it. I you know, the only thing about Unicron being Earth, I guess that it works for the fact that they're incorporating Transformers Prime and the aligned continuity in this, you know, in these films. But I would have liked full blown Unicron coming in, eating worlds, transforming. He's coming for Cybertron. Hey, we need to leave Earth and go save Cybertron. That would have been a better story. Yeah, I think it was Bumblebee that shot Nitro in the head, you know, dead. Yeah, I think I remember that correctly. And I didn't like French Hot Rod at all. Like, I didn't like him being French. I just kind of like that whole Bonjour, Cherie, and you know, I think he should have been a different Transformer. Yeah, Canopy was shot, like, and killed, like, one shot, like, boom, he was dead. Um, I would like them to go back to G1 with everything. You know, Unicron being separate from Earth, the Quintessons being rulers of Cybertron, maybe incorporate the Primus myth that, you know, that I made with my Primus and Unicron, you know, Primus and the Quintessons video. They could have literally taken that storyline that I did, you know, that theory, and actually made that the origin story of the Transformers, and it would have made 100 million more times sense than what we got. Because we get told that Quintessa is the creator, but yet she's able to become a human at the end. If you guys all saw that, right? That was like the, you know, the scene at the end credit, you know, the mid credit scene was her human talking about, you know, Unicron. And yeah, it was Frank Welker's voice as Megatron. But I think that they should have gone back to G1 with everything. Squeaks could have been written out of the movie. Yeah, I think Quintessa is lying. I do think she's a liar. I don't think that she's telling us everything. Like, okay, she's the prime of life. The "We were brothers once" line, I don't know where they're supposed to go with that. Yeah, I guess Quintessa is now the second pretender. I don't think we need any more human characters in these films, but they I guess they feel that they have to have human characters. And the other thing is that, all right, explain to me how the Earth survives if all of these parts of Cybertron are all over the Earth and it's destroyed almost all of Earth. Like, what now, you know, how is the, like, how are we surviving? Like, who's left alive? The pyramids are destroyed, Stonehenge is destroyed, you know, so apparently, like, cities are all going to die, and, you know, everybody's going to, you know, we don't know, the deaths are going to be in the tens of the millions, and, you know, we don't actually know who survived. Why? Because, you know, everything's exploding, everything blows up, Optimus transforms off screen, you know, drives as a truck, and everyone's like, okay, this is the end. And then he gets up, they give him the staff, and we don't even see him transform, and then it's like, roll credits. That's it. It's over. Like, that's just the end. Barricade. I liked Barricade's design. I liked that he had a speaking role. I didn't like how little they used of him. Yeah, I think she's a great deceiver. I do think that she is definitely a deceiver. Yeah, I also didn't like the idea that they didn't explain Bumblebee's magnetic ability. Like, all of a sudden he can jump up in the air, flip him to a million pieces. It's like he's Waspinator. Waspinator can, like, get all his pieces and put them back together, except that Bumblebee can do it, like, magnetically. Yeah, base explosions definitely have to be bigger for every film. Oh yeah, that's right. You know, Edmund Burton appears at Stonehenge at the end, and he faces Megatron. His staff transforms into a gun, and he shoots at Megatron, and then Megatron goes, "You wretched human," and then he shoots him, and obviously that kills you know, Edmund Burton. But while he's dying, Cogman comes up to him and is all sad, and that was a pretty good death scene. The Seed, we don't know what happened to the Seed. It's pretty much like, you know, we honestly don't know what happened to the Seed. Like, Optimus had it with him, but we don't know. And like, it really goes to show you that this movie fails in editing. Like, everything is just like, we had a purpose for this. We were going to go somewhere here, and we didn't. We were going to go somewhere with here, and we didn't. We were going to go somewhere with here, and we didn't. And it's everything in this movie did that. It's like we get these awesome action sequences, and then all of a sudden they're just like chopped up short because either they ran out of time finishing it, or something about Mohawk. I honestly wonder if he's still alive, because his head was talking while he, like, when Bumblebee, like, shot him into pieces and his head blows off. So it's possible that Mohawk is still alive. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually brought Mohawk back. I do think that the final battle itself is awesome. It was just poorly edited. Like, I liked in battle with Infernicus, him actually transforming, Megatron actually commanding Decepticons, him shooting with his fusion cannon. Like, he actually uses his fusion cannon. I liked, what was it? I liked, the actual battle against, Quintessa and Megatron at the end. Like, it kind of felt like it was like this final battle. The only thing I didn't like about there was, while they're fighting, they focus in on Mark Wahlberg and Laura Haddock, and the rest of the fight's happening in the background against Quintessa, and then they kind of like go back to Megatron, getting his arm chopped off and getting kicked out of, the chamber. Yeah, gravity was all messed up. What was the point of the battle? The point of the battle is now half of Earth is wrecked because Cybertron has scraped part of the Earth. That's pretty much it. Yeah. Marketing is definitely... and I don't know if you guys have watched Raging Nation's Why I Hate, 10 Things He Hates About, hated about the movie. And I agree with him 100% that the number one reason this movie was, like, one of the things that we all hate is the marketing. Because it sold us that there was going to be this big, like, Optimus is going to go rogue and he's going to go evil. And Optimus was not as much in the movie as they advertised. It was almost like the Joker in Suicide Squad. And then, of course, they did this whole Suicide Squad, thing with all the name tags, all the Decepticons. Yeah, I'll give Diamond Bolt a shout out, definitely. He gave me a shout out, and I really appreciate it in his Q&A. And Diamond Bolt, I enjoy I love his sense of humor. Maybe I'm a little too old to have that kind of sense of humor. I don't know. I'm gonna get in there. I'm in my 30s, so. But his sense of humor is hysterical. I love it. I love watching his videos. Yeah. I would be open to doing a collab with him. We don't know what I don't know honestly what I would do. We'd probably have to talk about it. We will remember Dreadbot. All the Decepticons except for Barricade. Barricade was left because Barricade can't fly. He was left at Stonehenge, while Megatron and Nitro Zeus flew up to Quintessa. Trailers didn't make me think that Unicron was coming. It made me go, are they going there? But the trailers made me want Optimus and to go bad, to actually he does stuff. So I think the trailers just ruined, were completely ruined with advertising. All the advertising in this movie just killed it. So, yeah, I agree with you there. I think it was a mistake to go back. The humans have outlawed Transformers, especially considering that the Autobots were fighting for everybody. Um, what Transformers episode would we like to see adapted to a better version of a Transformers movie? Um, I mean, we've already pretty much seen the ultimate doom with Cybertron being brought into Earth's orbit. We've seen now Transformers Prime merging with, you know, um, with this continuity with Earth being Unicron. So they kind of killed it there. We've already seen you know, they did a drawback to. I mean, you'd almost say like this movie did like Attack of the Autobots, because that's where like, you know, I saw someone. You know, I haven't seen Attack of the Autobots in a while, and I remember seeing like Optimus had Bumblebee like above his head, ready to slam him down, and that's the same exact, you know, move that Optimus does to Bumblebee in the movie. So, but as far as like an epic story, you know, I'm trying to think like, you know, maybe they could have done Key to Vector Sigma, you know, and that would have had like all the combiners. It would have had Superion. I would have liked. I would like to see traditional combiners. I would like to actually see like, you know, that Fireflight's arm is superior. You know, Fireflight transforms into Superion's arm. I don't like Infernicus. He's just basically a bunch of black guys that merge to form, like, that are all like these black monsters, and they all just transform into one big giant black monster. You know, 12 knights that are indistinguishable from each other all merge to form, with no actual transformation shown, to become, you know, 12 of them become a three-headed dragon. You know, maybe the opening to Transformers Prime with like the Darkness Awakening, maybe they could do that as an episode of, not an episode, like a movie of Transformers. That would be interesting. I would really like them to go back to G1. I would like to see them literally hit the reset button, go back to More Than Meets the Eye, the first episode, you know, of G1. You know, add some elements in with like the, you know, from the comic books, you know, the Marvel comic books, like the first 4 issues, and make that a brand new Transformers universe, starting fresh. And we can start fresh with there. We can go back and start fresh with G.I. Joe and do like a modernized G.I. Joe that doesn't feel like, you know, they're not going anywhere good. You know, because both movies suffer in a lot of ways. Yeah, definitely want them to go back to G1. Like, that's, to me, I would like to see G1 brought back. Where do I stand on the Bumblebee spinoff? I would be, you know, I would like the Bumblebee spinoff to, first of all, celebrate the 80s, because, you know, come on, like, 80s music is like my jam. It's like, you know, come on, I grew up watching G1 Transformers and G.I. Joe and Thundercats and Ninja Turtles and He-Man and Masters of the Universe and Mask and the Centaurians and Voltron and, you know, then of course all the flashy lights and the, you know, 80s, you know, stuff. So I'm looking forward to a Bumblebee movie that does that. You know, we really wonder if they're going to bring in G1 characters like Prowl or maybe... who is it, you know, whoever else they want to bring from the actual, you know, from G1 in any way, shape, or form. Maybe make Bumblebee a Volkswagen Beetle. Yeah, that is a Rodimus Prime poster. I have, what's it called? A friend of mine went down, I mean, I live in New Jersey, and a friend of mine went down to South Jersey and went to a comic book signing for me. and got Dan Canna, who actually did the artwork for that poster for Rodimus Prime, and actually has it signed. So I am happy to have that on my wall. Roadbuster is missing. Yeah, well, the Wreckers are with John Turturro's character. So, yeah, Michael Bay destroyed Unicron. Actually, Transformers Prime destroyed Unicron in my eyes, because making it Earth means that, like, oh well, that's the reason why they keep coming here. I guess. The original movie needs to be reskinned with real-looking CGI. I'd like to see the original movie. I honestly no, I wouldn't like to see, it reskinned. I would like to see them like take the first issues of the comic book and the cartoon and retell it. It's either that or let's do an animated series like of G1 retold for today's audience. That's what I would like to see, personally. I want them to go back to G1. To me, G1 is Transformers. To me, the Unicron trilogy is meh. I love the 1986 movie, and it's like one of those things that you can't touch. I love the music. I actually have the entire soundtrack, all 14 tracks, on my phone, which obviously I listen to on Bluetooth in the car. So, with all the other music I got listening to. But yeah, I would like to see a modernized G1. Whether it be the movies or whether it be the, an animated series. I don't know if anybody has seen Voltron on Netflix. If you guys have seen Voltron on Netflix, it's excellent. I enjoyed it. I loved the new Voltron, and it takes everything that was good about Voltron and modernized it. And I'd like to see them do that with Transformers. Bring back G1. We're getting rid of Michael Bay, be the definitive way of making a better movie. I think there are other factors that need to be addressed. I think that you need somebody. That's that loves Transformers, because Michael Bay knew nothing of Transformers, but he also has to be a good director. And the other thing is that it has to be a good script. It's got to be good robot design. If you guys want me to tell you my age, I'm actually in my mid-30s. So, I saw that comment. I'm not 40 yet. Don't fast forward the age on me yet. No, I don't think Armada gave Unicron his threatening feeling. I think G1 gave Unicron his threatening feeling. He was a threat. Maybe you can say Call of the Primitives might have ruined Unicron, but he was in the movie. He was a threat. It was like he ate 2 of Cybertron's moons like it was nothing. In the beginning of the movie, he eats an entire planet of robot, people, which I wonder if they're Cybertronian. Like the whole planet maybe might have been a Cybertronian colony. That might be a theory to the 1986 movie. That could be addressed with female Transformers. Transformers Armada is I liked the last 12 episodes of Armada, and I hated the beginning. But to me, G1 all day. G1 cartoon. Yeah, even the G1 comics. Guys, is talking to Johnson. Dark Energon is the blood of Unicron, so that's why it makes him like. Oh, kicker. Oh, what the name Kicker just makes me want to kick him. Am I sounding too mean here? I did not like Kicker. One of the things I hated about Transformers Energon. I would have definitely liked to have kicked Kicker. Yeah, I think at this point now, Peter Cullen is like, he's like in everything Transformers now. He is Optimus Prime. That is the way that it is. Um, Transformers Energon. Oh, oh my gosh, what they did to Transformers with that series. Like it's just, oh. Like Transformers Energon and Transformers Combiner Wars are like tied for the worst Transformers series. Can we say that? Can we agree on that one? um, if they make a sequel to this, which, you know, box office, like the way the box office is looking, I don't know if there will be. Cybertron was okay. Like, because of how bad Energon was, Cybertron was leagues better. Beast Machines ranks there like lower, but Beast Machines is not as bad as like as Energon, I think. I do wish Cogman did transform. I wish that they actually did something more with him. Um, those of you guys who are signing out, have a good night. Um, uh, yeah, it was. I will say this much: like the way Bumblebee got blown apart in here, they didn't explain it at all. They didn't explain how he got blown to bits. In fact, he's getting shot and then he jumps in the air, becomes a bunch of pieces, and then all of a sudden, brings his pieces back together and uses the pieces to, like, attack everybody. They didn't say how he was able to do it. They did say Cogman was a headmaster, but he never actually showed that ability, which was annoying. B did get his voice back, which is a continuity hole in and of itself. Like, first of all, he gets a voice box that has a woman's voice. Sounds like Siri. Oh, wait, this is my voice? Oh, this isn't my voice. And then he rips it out. And then when he's fighting Optimus, then all of a sudden he's got his voice back, and we don't know why. We don't understand how he got his voice back. And then he uses it at the end. Cogman was supposed to be a headmaster. He even says, like, he is this and he's a headmaster. And he was supposed to actually transform, and he didn't. They didn't even use the headmaster reveal. Like, they just said it and it was there, and then all of a sudden he wasn't the a headmaster anymore. I think that, Optimus, we don't know how he got to Earth either. He just all of a sudden, like, arrives on Earth, and he's underwater, and he's, fighting the Knights, and then he fights he fights Bumblebee, like, outside. Like, it was weird. Like, the editing in the movie, like, really, like, made me, like, wonder, like, what the heck is going on? Yeah, that was a big continuity error. Big continuity hole. with Bumblebee's voice. Bumblebee's voice was a big continuity hole from the first movie, big continuity hole with this one. I think they're still licensed with Paramount, so I think they aren't able to do anything without Paramount's permission. So even if they have their own studio now, they're not going. Maybe they might use their own studio in conjunction with Paramount. I mean, I'm going to ask you guys: compare Transformers, all the 5 Transformers movies, and compare them to the reboot of Ninja Turtles. Like, do you think that Michael Bay's film is actually better? Michael Bay's films are better, or do you think that the Michael Bay produced Ninja Turtles is better? There's a question for the ages there. Give the rights back to Marvel. Actually, Hasbro has full rights to Transformers. If you guys don't know the history between Marvel and Hasbro, Marvel was used to tell the story and bring the story of what we now know as G1 Transformers. But Hot Rod, he brings the girl. He starts off as a classic car, and then he basically kidnaps Laura Haddock's character because I think he's posing as her car, and then he drives off, and becomes a Lamborghini, and gets a new mode, and then he's seen in the final battle. He actually has a really cool gun that stops time, the time bubble, and that time bubble is really cool. It's a cool how they use it because everybody's in midair, and Hot Rod actually uses the gun to save the 2 humans. So yeah, Hasbro needs to pull the rights for Paramount. If they can drop Michael Bay, if Michael Bay says he's not coming back to Transformers, I would be ecstatic. If they did something good with Hot Rod, I'd be really happy. I think that they need to go back to G1. They need to go back to their roots. Transformers, from movies, from comic books, to web series, to the toys, it all needs to go back to G1. It needs to go back to form. They've hit the reset button so many times between Transformers Armada, Transformers Robots in Disguise, which actually is car robots. They hit the reset button with Transformers Animated, and now Transformers Prime. They need to go back and go back to G1 and make it G1 again. I can't stress enough how much we need to see G1 out of Transformers. Who do I like better, Cade or Sam? I liked Cade's character better. Marky Mark is definitely more tolerable than Shia LaBeouf going no, and it gets annoying. It really gets annoying. Quintessa says I am the prime of life. So I wonder if she's one of the original primes, and she's or she's saying that because she's saying she is, better than everyone else. This is my theory. Quintessa is an agent of Unicron. I honestly think that Quintessa is an agent of Unicron, and that she was working for him the whole time, and her plan was not to make Cybertron Unicron, was to actually destroy the Earth and then make Unicron take over Cybertron. That, I think, was her ultimate goal. And she didn't, succeed, obviously, because the Earth is still here. But that, I honestly think, she says she was trying to kill Unicron. I think she wasn't trying to kill Unicron. She was trying to absorb Unicron and give him a new body, which was Cybertron. That was her goal in my eyes. I honestly think that that's my theory. That's where I think that she was going. I think she's not really as, like, I think she isn't, like, because they keep calling her they call her the Great Deceiver. So that's what I think that she is. I think that she is the Great Deceiver of us all, and she's trying to revive Unicron by giving Unicron a new body and destroying the Earth at the same time. Let's kill the alliance between Transformers and humans, end the life of Transformers as we know it, and make Cybertron Unicron, and then go consume the universe, because she's just an agent of Unicron. That's my theory. That's where they should go at Transformers 6. Unicron could speak. If they actually decided to make a Transformers 6, which, again, I don't know if, like, this movie is, like, going to perform as well as they need it to make a sequel. It may even affect the Bumblebee prequel. They've greenlit it, but it may actually get the breaks because of it. So those are, anybody who's tuning in, obviously we're talking Transformers The Last Night, spoilers. I have talked for about over an hour about all the spoilers in this movie. Do I think Primus will be a factor? I don't know if they're even going to address that. If a good writer and a good director takes over, yeah, sure. Primus is the core of Cybertron. I was glad that Bumblebee got his voice back. In fact, I think he should have gotten his voice back earlier in the film, and he should have just gotten it back, and then he should have had banter between him and Optimus. Like, Optimus, no, what are you doing? You have to listen. Optimus, it's me. It should have been that throughout the entire fight. And it would have been a better, it would have made the fight a lot better, in my opinion. Because it would have it would have taken time for Optimus to come back to his senses. Unicron is Cybertron's ancient enemy. Like, they just, like, touch on that. And, like, it's as if they didn't know where they were going with the story. Yeah, he should have had it back because it was cute for the first movie, and I think that they should have ended it from there, and he should have just had his voice, and it would have been fine. In fact, I think all of the movies suffer from Transformers not talking to one another. Transformers 5 did it better. The Last Night did it a lot better. Nitro Zeus is sitting there taunting everybody, and Onslaught, and everybody is, like, saying a bunch of stuff. Like, the Decepticons had a lot of funny lines. You have to admit, they had a lot of funny lines. Bring back Starscream. Maybe bring Starscream's ghost into the next movie. Like, maybe Starscream works for Unicron now because he wants to come back to life. I think that the Decepticons had a lot of potential that they were showing in the movie, but they died too quickly. They brought them in, they were awesome. They did the Suicide Squad thing with them, and then they get killed, and it's just like it's over. Sting like a bee. You never want to hear him talk again. One way or the other, it's like a long time coming. Starscream. Bumblebee should have had his voice back since the end of the first movie. it's not so much that I don't want them to rip off G1. I want them to bring G1 to the big screen. You know, that's what I want out of the movies. I want G1 back. Can we get that? David Tornado, if you didn't hear me earlier, I gave a theory that after Age of Extinction, I think Megatron went and met with Quintessa, and then, you know, Galvatron met with Quintessa and got a new body as Megatron. You know, got upgraded. So, but they don't explain it at all. The only thing that leads me to that theory is the fact that he has the red line across his face, and that's it. The ending, I think the ending was like too abrupt. It's like as if they had just like, we need to end it. It's over. The battle's over. Okay, good, we're done. Like that's it. Like it didn't make. You were kind of like, wait, what? Yeah. Characterization of the Decepticons was at least a step in the right direction. I completely agree with that. Like, but then they were killed off very quickly. The ending was like literally like it was over, and then it was like roll credits. And did anyone who's seen it, like, did you guys notice that the credits were on fast forward? Like it was as if like they were just like hitting the fast forward button. If you go and watch like Captain America Civil War, like you're there for a good 10-15 minutes of credits, and it's like just this giant wall of names. And this movie was just like, you know, you see the scene with Quintessa, it's over, and then like you get up from your chair and the Paramount like logo is there because the credits are over. That's how fast the credits went. All line item politic heads. I think all of the characters in all 5 movies deserved better storytelling. Do I think Nitro Zeus should have been Cyclonus? I like the fact that he was a different character. Cyclonus should have been someone else. Or could have been someone else. But they all of the Decepticons in all 5 movies deserve better storytelling. All of the characters do. I'd like them to literally hit the reset button at this point. I really wonder where Joss Whedon would take Transformers if he took over and directed this movie, like directed the next movies. Because he's obviously known as, for directing, but I don't know how much of a Transformers fan he is, so I don't know what he would do with it. The biggest thing that I want to see is, like again, I would like to see G1 brought to the big screen. The Bumblebee solo movie looks... You just want more movies. No more movies or good Transformers. Or good Transformers to Space. So basically, what Mega Man Ian Prime wants is Transformers G1 Season 3. Which would make for a pretty good epic sci-fi movie. If they actually did that. That would be pretty interesting. Instead of being on Earth and everything being Earth-based... that would be interesting. Maybe if they decided to do G1 Season 4, continuing off where the Rebirth left off, because come on, the Rebirth left us hanging with Headmasters and Target Masters, and Make Transformers great again. uh, maybe I need to dye my skin orange and say we need to make Transformers great again, and let it be known. Um, yeah, it would be very expensive. It would be very, very, very expensive if they did that. But you know what? Any sci-fi movie is going to be expensive. You know, um, Berserker seemed like he was in like a straitjacket. Um, gonna build a wall around Michael Bay. Why do my posts keep disappearing, or the other Rodimus Prime? I'm not getting into politics. I'm believe me, don't I like I have my ups and downs for politics, and a lot of people wouldn't agree with me anyway, so I'm not going to go there. um, so I just use the whole make Cybertron great again, and because it makes for a great argument for Transformers. Um, Optimus Prime for president. Wow, I've been talking for an hour and a half. Well, I don't have any hair, so so I can't dye my hair orange because I don't have any hair to dye orange. Um, yeah. A lot of us are disappointed in a lot of ways. There were a lot of good things. Um, Baltimus Primal. Um, that's not cool. um, I think there were a lot of good things in the movie. I think that overall there was a lot. There was a lot to enjoy, but leave your brain at the door. Um, but the middle, like you could fall asleep, and then all of a sudden you wake up, and it's like the last battle is upon you, and that's when the movie actually like become like. Honestly feel like the last battle was almost like a G1 episode, like the way that it ended with the Decepticons getting kicked out and blasted away. Um, Optimus and Bumblebee like fighting, and it kind of felt like a G1 episode that way, but it was still like the whole movie overall. Like there's a lot of good stuff to enjoy in it. I think the storytelling just sucked. It was bad editing, and yeah, all of the Transformers at least were colorful. So. Um, So at this point, guys, I've been talking to you guys, I've been answering your questions, and we've been keeping this conversation going. It's been fun. Um, but I'm going to let you guys know what I have in store coming soon. Um, I have what I'm actually going to be doing this week is I'm going to be redoing my Rumble and Frenzy Who Is Who video. And then I'm also going to redo my Origin of the Constructicon videos. The two of them I'm going to actually, um, you know, fix them up a bit. And, I make them better for what I have within those videos. And I'm also going to be working on my next Transformers discussions because, honestly, I'm Bayformered out. I am literally, like, at the point where, with Bayformers, that, like, I've had enough. I have been... my Dark of the Moon video is up, is already been up. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's there. It's there. It's a half an hour long, just like the other 4 movies are. But I've had it up to here with Bayformers. We literally, from watching all 4 movies and reviewing them, then reviewing, the last night. Oh yeah, that's right. I did not talk about the baby Dinobots, which were there for a little bit. They were cute. They were funny, and then they were gone. And that was it. I'm, like I said, guys, I'm going to be working on those, this week. So expect to see those videos up, by the end of this week. Bayformers is your childhood. I'm guessing you're a kid, man. I'm I'm sorry. G1 is my childhood. Do I want to play Transformers Devastation? I actually have it on Steam. I played through it once. I enjoyed it. I had fun. It was a fun game. I actually reviewed it. It's my review is actually on the channel. So I would go back and play it. So, like, if you haven't played it, definitely play it and definitely watch my review on it. But it's my review is kind of old because it's like my first game review that I ever did. The Dinobots themselves were, in this movie, were very useless. I think like they were there. Grimlock had his cool moment, and here's the other thing. How many of you guys realized if you watched every trailer and TV spot, you literally watched the whole movie? You literally saw the entire movie, like from the entire Bumblebee and Optimus fight to the baby Dinobots. The trailers had all of the Dinobots scenes. And it was like literally like the entire movie was spoiled in trailers and marketing. I mean, you literally can almost piece together the entire movie from from the TV spots, and like and save yourself some money. Speaking of Dinobots, that is going to be a soon-to-be future Transformers discussion. I am in the preliminary ideas for that now. Trying to make a Dinobots video. I want to do a Starscream's Ghost video. I want to do a female Transformers video. This is all stuff that I have. I have a whole list because a lot of you guys, I really appreciate the comments. I really appreciate all the feedback. I do have a private Instagram, but it's mostly just like of my daughter, and that's about it, about all. So, I do have the Facebook page. I do have the Twitter page. I have my Patreon, which I really should like try to update that Patreon, but. If I were to rank Transformers series, maybe I should actually do like my top my top Transformer series. I mean, I would say Beast Wars and G1 are my top Transformer series, like altogether. Would Sam and Carly have Daniel by now? I'd say so, because considering that Age of Extinction is 5 years after Dark of the Moon, and we don't know how much time between Age of Extinction and The Last Night is. Um, um, Prime. Prime was, I think, was good. I think Prime was a good series. I just don't think that it it references a lot of older Transformers series in a lot of ways, but um, it's a few months. They don't even say, like, because we don't know how long from Age of Extinction to The Last Night. They don't even say it. They don't even say that, like, how long it was. It would have been interesting if one of the kids was Daniel. That would have been interesting. But they didn't even do that. They had so many opportunities with the cast that they had, that they ruined it. Gosh. So, that's do I think Unicron will achieve robot mode? No, I don't think that he will have a robot mode because he's the Earth, and if he transforms, that's it. The Earth is doomed. Do you think Peter Cullen is... Wow, stomach Bayformers. Probably. Peter Cullen and Frank Welker. Give them both a lot of credit. Give them a big round of applause. I actually met Peter Cullen about back in 2005 at a convention in New York City. So, he was like the nicest guy ever. Like he was just like he was open to talk. He was like really happy to greet fans, it was the people who were there who were like, all right, come on, move it along. And then he was like, come on, guys. Peter Cullen didn't want to like just throw fans away. So I give him a lot of, a lot of props. Could Quintessa be Solus Prime? No. I think Quintessa she's called the Deceiver in the movie. And she says, I am the prime of life. So maybe she's trying to say she is Primus, but in reality, she is an agent of Unicron. I honestly think that's my theory, is that she's actually working for Unicron. But the reality is that no, she's not Solus Prime. She's not Quintus Prime. She is her own interpretation of the 13 primes, and which actually no, it wouldn't even be that. She is her own version of the Quintessons. I've heard that too, that Peter Cullen didn't like Optimus being such a cold-blooded killer, and yet then in Age of Extinction, he's like, I kill you. I will, I said I wasn't going to kill humans, and he must die. Like, come on. Like, that's not Optimus Prime. That is, like, Age of Extinction, man. I've got so many problems with Age of Extinction that it's like, from the false transforming Decepticons, that was the worst idea ever. Okay, grant, you want to say they're prototypes, fine. But make it so that they're falling apart or something. But like the whole transformation of the KSI Decepticons are terrible. I did expect Quintessa to have 5 faces. Yeah, I will say that. I expected her to actually be like a Quintesson with multiple faces. What would you like to see a story of the afterlife in Transformers? Maybe. I don't know what they would do with it. The red mark on their face was basically that they were marked as reprogrammed by Quintessa. That's basically what the red mark was. After he was resurrected by the Matrix, he became a relentless killer. I'll go with that. She gets blasted and then she teleports away. Maybe. She might be like. I still think that she's. I still think that she's like her own interpretation of the Quintessons. The Matrix. We haven't seen the Matrix since the third movie, and we don't know what happened to it. Yeah. Uh, yeah, well, that's because she does have the tendrils. She looks like a Quintesson. Um, yeah, the real reason is why, for the sake of the movie, is because they want to use her. She's basically going to be a herald of Unicron. I think she's going to be the herald of Unicron in the next movie. Like, if they make a Transformer 6, she'll be the herald of Unicron. Um, I think that uh, I think the Matrix itself. The fact is that the Matrix itself was the Allspark itself actually merged with the Matrix. So I think that's what happened in the movie franchise. But I could be wrong. I'm not sure. Um, yeah, it's not meant for story or continuity. It's just for fun. I agree with you there. Um, how did she become human? She's a pretender. Um, she took on a human form as a pretender. Um, what to expect next? I think that um, if Michael Bay's Transformers are over, then I expect them to hit the reset button. There's going to be a prequel Bumblebee movie. I hope that movie actually goes in and hits the reset button. Um, I want them to go back to G1. Like completely 100% back to G1, back to form, back to original Transformers like we saw in the original cartoon and comics. Merge the Marvel comics and the G1 cartoon universes and try to make it like one coherent movie franchise and make good storytelling, make good action. That's what I want to see. But if they make a sequel, I want them to take my idea that Quintessa is an agent of Unicron in the next movie, and her whole reasoning for doing what she's doing is so that she can destroy Earth and make Cybertron Unicron's new body. That's what I think. Because I honestly think that she was trying to actually like uncover Unicron so he would awaken and then eat Cybertron. I think that was her plan all along. And no, I don't think she's trying to bring the 13 primes back. I think she's just basically like um, I think she is an agent of Unicron. That's my theory. And if they run with that, remember, you guys heard it here first. If they don't, then they go their own way. I can't. I can't. I can only just go like this. Because that would be a better idea in my eyes. Um, the 12 Knights are not the Primes. The 12 Knights are the 12 Knights of Iacon. They're just basically the Knights of Cybertron. So, um, It would be kind of interesting if they did a Five Faces of Darkness, if they actually decided to do something like that. Yeah, I agree with you there. Days of Future Past this. Like, make the Bumblebee prequel the movie that literally goes back and hits the reset button. Completely, hits the reset button on all of Transformers and goes back to square one, where we can now have maybe, I guess, a 2021 reboot of G1 in the movie franchise. But who knows? Because by the time that, the Bumblebee movie will be out by, 2019? By the time they finally finish making that? Hasbro never dubbed the Headmasters. They just subtitled the Japanese. Okay, so they're literally going to fast forward and they just make the movie now. Wow. So they've already got the story. Jeez. You've already written Bayformers 6 in your head. Oh, good God, no. Megatron's original name, according to more current continuities, was Megatronus. He took the name, like he was named after Megatronus Prime, who is the Fallen. And he shortened his name to Megatron. But Megatronus Prime is the Fallen, and Megatron was Megatronus. All right, so I was going to end, a little bit ago, and I've gone a little longer. I really enjoyed the time streaming with you guys. Again, I let you guys know already. I'm gonna, I've talked quite enough about Bayformers. I think I'm Bayformered out. I think next week I'm probably going to do, if I do a live stream next week, which I think we're almost at July 4th, right? Getting close to that. But if I do a stream next week, I'll be going back to play some Final Fantasy or play a video game for my live stream next, and I'll still answer your questions while playing. But expect to see my two updated Transformers discussions by the end of this week, and I hope to get another a new Transformers discussion video that could be very prehistoric, up and running within the, coming very soon, hopefully soon, and that's what I want to actually do with next, and then I'm probably gonna go ahead and do another game review. I'm also going to do a movie review for Spider-Man: Homecoming, and because I do intend to see that, so maybe I'm gonna try and actually. I have a lot of work cut out for me in the next 2 weeks, so I hope to keep you guys entertained and make more videos, and I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream, and as always, guys, until next time.